olabye message yange awo. Eh? Anti mbadde nkugamba across posting ku page yo. Oba obadde oli busy? Kankuweereza link. Link egirabye? Oh, okay. Webale. Okay, kale kamaliriza online. Okay. So sigala kutwala budde bungi anyway. Kansuubire nti mumpulira. Let me just check my sound here. It's okay. Just in a few minutes. Just in a few minutes. Okay, yeah, my sound is good. Okay, that's good. Okay, Mwana Abatulaba, thank you very much for joining the show. Just briefly, ngenda kuba nkola a few changes ntonotono just mu mirimu gyaffe nga tugitambuza mpola mpola, but definitely because this one I'm using my profile, but I think I'll be creating a small page as well. So about what I'm going to be launching next year, you people should keep for the updates on this page. So we shall be doing a few things here and there, but a few things I'm likely to change. Mumpereza yange nja kuba nkozesa nnyo olulimi oluzungu or English for the benefit of the people within and outside Uganda, and discussing generally ebintu ebigenda maaso in basically Uganda, but also continent-wise, and how events happening in the rest of Africa and affecting Uganda. Now, lero njagala kwogerako ku the so-called US Africa Summit, right? Those of you who have been following it. Now, nalabye baganda bange banje ababadde bagoberera gundi eyo summit eyo, and most of you brothers, sisters, were very frustrated that because of the leaders that were invited. Kakati kyetulina okutegeera ekintu kimu nti engeri gye twagala ebyobufuzi bitambuzibwemu ngaffe abantu ba bulijjo si engeri abantu abali mu byobufuzi gye bagenda okuba nga babitambuza. Ekyo bw'oba nga oyagala okutegeera ensonga ezigenda mu maaso, ekyo kyolina okusooka okumanya at the back of your head nti engeri gye twagala ebintu bikolebwemu si engeri gye bigenda okuba nga bikolebwa, kubanga ebyobufuzi bali bagulabanga muzannyo, newankubadde nga mulimu okufa, newankubadde nga mulimu okufiirwa, newankubadde nga mulimu okutulugunya abantu n'ebintu ebifaanana ng'ebyo. So for them we babiraba abantu bonna abali mu bifo by'obukulembeze mu ebyobufuzi in terms of the presidents and that kind of stuff. Kakati olukungaana olwo lwabadde mu America, US Africa Summit, bayise abakulembeze 49 okuva mawanga ag'enjawulo mu Africa, and abantu bangi nnyo bakubaganyizaako ebirowoozo lwaki ebintu biringa ebiri, naye ekiri funny bonna bajja kwogera biliyoni 55 America zigenda okuwa Africa, naye tebajja babuulira mazima nti lwaki bazituwa oba lwaki baziwa Africa. Ezo baazitaddewo kubuzaabuza abantu muddeko kwezo ssente ze baasabiriza ze babasuubiza, naye nga amazima tebagenda googera amatuufu. Masopolo ebadde nse nti nga amazima tebagenda googera amatuufu anyway. So amazima ge galuwa nti kyeki provoking reactions eza US okuba nti eyita abakulembeze abakyasinza okuba ne rekodi embi mu Africa omuli Mwami Museveni, Abiy Ahmed, Fattah al-Sisi, Twadela wa Central African Republic n'abalala bangi. Kiki ekyaleetedde America okuba nga bakyusa mu neeyisa within a second like this. Kakyagala okubabuulira kino nze kakati si views zange ziyinza okubutabeera popular, naye oyinza n'obutakkiriziganya nange, naye kyembadde nsiba ngamba abantu guno omwaka gwonna tulina okwegendereza ennyo ensi z'abazungu, mulina okwegendereza ennyo European Union, mulina okwegendereza ennyo Abamerika, kubanga abantu abo babiri bementioninze mu okutegeera kwange ne mu ndaba yange ey'ebintu tebaagalangako era tebaliyagalako kintu kiyitibwa demokrasia, kintu kiyitibwa rule of law, n'ekintu ekiyitibwa eddembe ly'obuntu. Tebibakolera ekintu kye bafaako kintu kimu, kimu kyekigambo kye tuyita interests. kati okuleka nga obanga oyagala buwagizi bwabwe, okuleka nga oyina modo obanga oyina enkola egenda okulaga nti ogenda supportinga interests zaabwe oba ogenda kuwanirira interests zaabwe, then they can come on board. Enkola oba togirina kitegeeza nti oli ku lulwo. Kati ekyo okimanya, then kikuwa engeri gy'olina okuba nga otambuzaamu ebiruubirirwa byo. It is better for you to know these things as early as possible so that you can know how to fight. Kubanga ogenda kwesiba ku nsonga nga human rights, nga democracy, ng'ate bo tezibakolera. Kati gojja kwesiba ku nsonga ezo nga ziri unpopular ku bo. Sorry, nga beefuna nti ziri popular ku bo, naye ate nga wozoogera mu conference rooms nga tebaziwuliriza, tezibakolera. Kiwulira? Lwaki njogera bwentyo? Abantu bonna be baayise mu Washington abasinga obungi bonna oyo omusajja yakikoze akigenderedde, yakikoze akiraba. Oyo president wa America. Abantu abasinga babadde bafollowinga Twitter spaces zaabwe nsibadde ngamba abantu nti democracy and human rights will never and ever take center stage in US foreign policy. It is all about interests. The same applies to the European Union. If the price of oil is going to increase by even a cent in America or in the UK, everything else will be put on the side to make sure that they bring that price of oil down in third world countries like Africa. That's what is happening today. We can bury your heads in the sand, but that's the reality. But what prompted these guys to change? Because all of a sudden of recent, bali bakyusizaamu nga balinga abagezaako okuboggola. Ekyokulabirako, Saudi Arabia juzi waliyo issue eya omusajja gwe bali bayita Jamal Khashoggi. Jamal Khashoggi bamutta ne bamusalaasala e Turkey mu Saudi Embassy ku mulembe gwa Trump. Biden n'apromisinga nga wagenda okulagako Mr. MBS Muhammad bin Salman amugagwe nkusse oyinza otya okukwata journalist America n'omutta. Embeera nga kasita yagaze wano juzi, Biden y'omu n'akyusa olulimi n'ayogera oludikya. Ebya Khashoggi tebikyamukwatako. Kati obeera ng'oli munnamawulire ng'obeera Saudi Arabia n'olaba enneeyisa y'abasajja abo, olina kwesiba ssatu. Ensonga endala ey'omukulu gwe bayita Paul Rusesabagina, Omunyarwanda, I think yali abeera mu America, naye ng'alina obutakkaanya ne mukulu Kagame. Paul Rusesabagina ne bamukidnappinga ne bamutwala e Rwanda ne bamusiba nakati akyali mu kkomera, and he became a global sensation on the matter. Rusesabagina nakati akyali mu kkomera ne baboggolako nawali Kagame ye yasoose okulinnya ennyonyi egenda e Washington gwe basoose okuyita ku luserege, like ye yasooseeyo ati Kagame. Wano juzi Abiy Ahmed baadde bamuli bubi ebye Tigray. America ngeringa eraga nti esupportinga Tigrayans. Within a second like this, ne beekyusa. Kati baakyuse. Era kati n'ogenda obugenzi nti oyogere ku democracy ne human rights mu Washington, bajja kuteeka engalo mu matu we bati babenga abatawulira by'oyogera ku kye twalabye. Ekyo kye mwalabye kye kimu kaakati ku ffe bye twabadde tugamba abantu nti yessaawa Abannayuganda mwerwanirire mmwe. Yessaawa ng'ali mu nsi ya Africa gy'olimu, you're on your own, you have to fight on your own. Message mulina ogikyusa biki abantu bye bafaako ennyo bwe muba nga genda mu popular context oba okuyitimusa abantu okuŋŋaana. Buli woyogera ekigambo democracy okinnyonnyola otya omuntu wa wansi n'akitegeera era butya bwe kimu affectinga ng'omuntu. Kubanga oba oyagala ocreatinga mass uprising oba oyagala abantu okusitukiramu, buli woyogera eddembe ly'obuntu n'oyogera democracy, ebyo si bye bintu ebinnyo ebigenda okuleetera abantu okusituka mu revolution. Nope. Engeri abantu gye basitukira mu revolution, they don't rise up because these are just underlying factors. Ensi zino naddala America ze batukutte ne bazituteekesa ku mwanjo. Ensonga ezirina okubeera ku mwanjo nga bwetwogera ku ddembe ly'obuntu ne democracy, which is under ddembe ly'obuntu, sorry, which is under democracy. Eddembe ly'obuntu is under democracy. Ensonga ze tulina okusibako ennyesira ezikwatinga across the divide, ensonga nga eza emirimu, jobs. Ebyo wona obyogera eno mu America tebitunda, mu Bungereza tebitunda, naye ku ground bitunda. Abantu bayinza batya okufuna emirimu? Obwavu buyitiridde okujja abantu mu bwavu. Ffe nga opposition tukikoze tutya? Kati you have to widen the scope. Kubanga Museveni yatutegeera nti badictator bonna bagenze, kubanga nze ngenze following, I've been studying African opposition movements nga ziri nnyo ku freedom in terms of human rights, nezibeera nnyo ne ku democracy. Now those two aspects ziri very, very ambiguous and ziri very abstract. For a person for example in Masaka, somewhere there in the village, for him to understand, wekigamba omuntu asomye Makerere, they understand. Wekigamba omuntu ali e Bulaya, they will understand. But look at someone atayina mulimu e Kampala, atayina mulimu oba atayina kyalisa abaana be, teri kintu kavuye. If people go hungry, they will become angry. Like buli kimu bajja kiteeka wabbali bajja kutabuka. If people are hungry, if people lack money to pay school fees, to afford health care, to afford education, sigamba nti no strategy kyetubadde tukozesa badde ekola for the time being, but now you have to change. You have to change. It's as simple as that. You have to improve the messaging into, okay, democracy tumwogeredde emyaka kuva ku Besigye, ddembe ly'obuntu, and so on and so forth. And so on and so forth. Okay? So for me, the way I see it is into broaden your scope into okwogera, because I've told people time and again, okulwanirira baganda baffe abali makomera is not bad, but that's not going to end. Leero we bakwata ono, enkya bajja kukwata omulala, bakwata omulala, so they will keep you busy there, and then tojja kubaako kyokola. So ekiggwa, it just keeps going nti ebanga will over and over again until the next election nga muli just mukujja bantu makomera. Like I said on I think it was JB's space, nebagamba nti look here, you can use these sorts of weaknesses, with these sorts of tactics, Museveni zaros anti ziri more effective, and you can use them against him. if wabanga asazeho okukwata abantu baffe, then let us get as many people arrested as possible and create a critical mass in those prisons. Now, oyinza gamba ekyo kiri counterintuitive, right? But I believe that would be more effective than if you continued okuba nti, for example, like we fought for Segenya for over 2 years now, and so they're all not out. And this is what is going to happen. You see, like what is happening in Museveni's ranks, they are all disorganized and stuff. But their disorganization and stuff, to show the world or to show Ugandans that it's not a big deal, they will always come towards the opposition, opposition, because they don't want to show the world that, okay, blah, 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 we are having some internal problems as Museveni's supporters or Museveni's house and all that kind of stuff. So they'll have to fight, they are fighting within themselves. Kakati na efe, like whatever, sife, but what I'm trying to mean is the opposition, they will be arresting its supporters just to show a completely different face, like it's like a facade. So definitely you're gonna see people being arrested over and over and over again, and then definitely you will have to take those people out of prison. You have to pay bail money. Now, if you can handle that, it's your major focus. Nayenga, there is a completely different strategy that you have where you're focusing. That would be the best way, I think. So anyway, going back, because I think I have like 15 minutes left. So going back to my topic of the US-Africa relations, because that's what I wanted to discuss anyway, and how I would summarize it up, because what we see is the Western policy is now changing drastically, and how they deal with Africa. It is because of the Russia-Ukrainian crisis, and it's not here to go at any one time. And I don't know if Mubadem are following the events, but the moment I saw the Russian foreign minister Ngagenda about Africa, I just knew that now everything is changing. Because when Musajja Weyajja, Wamita Saji, Lavrov, Weyajja, he was visiting the Sissato, Soka yali Uganda, Ethiopia, and Egypt. Abakulembeze bonna abasatu ez'ensesatu, all of them were in Washington. Abakulembeze abo abasatu bonna babadde balina obuzibu mu nsi zaabwe. Abaye akava mu nsi zino, foreign minister, American Syndical Secretary of State for Africa, najja ng'atambula zwi mu Uganda, Ethiopia, Egypt. Oli we yayise ono we yajja ayita. Ne bawoninga ba Museveni nti if you are dealing with Russia, tugenda bateekako sanctions. They gamba, Katolinde tulabe. But what was funny, things started happening. For example, African Union bagigambe tuuze abakulembeze baayo omusajja Vladimir Zelensky ajja abogereremu. Tewalabikayo yadde n'omu. America negamba sajja bano tubawa ssente empitirivu, tubakoledde ebintu bingi, naye bagaanye otuwagira mu lutalo lwa Ukraine. Kakati like ne bagezaako nnyo ne bigaana. Then ne bagamba okay, kati katukwate ewabaluma tulabe what will happen. Ne tugenda into sanctions. Kyemuva mulaba deal eya East African crude oil pipeline bagi blocking. Why? And I told people, because I knew it, bino bye bawoza sijui human rights, democracy, climate change, the whites, the West, do not ever believe them that they're talking that stuff. The only people you should believe when they're talking those points, it is the freedom fighters on the continent. Whites, don't even bother listening to them. Even those guys in the European Union. So what did they do? They were quite anti Museveni wamuluma ku mafuta. You know what? Titugenda kuwa sente za mafuta kuzimba pipeline through the EU. And they blocked all these banks, everything. The reason they were doing that is not because of climate change. The reason they were doing that is not because of human rights. It was the timing of the events that were happening in Ukraine. So they twisted Museveni's arm. If you don't declare your support for Ukraine, tujja kuwa support ya mafuta. Your pipeline joyagala. Kati eno nga watugamba ku face omanyi bayina side bbiri. Waliwo side ey'amawulire ffe gye tubeerako. Abantu ne bagamba bannange Uganda batubanize olwa EACOP. Sorry, EACOP bagibanize olwa human rights n'eddembe. Kati eya PR amawulire, that's public relations. Kati ne wabaawo side eyo enneekusifu ey'emabega. Abasinga like 99.9% gye batabeeramu. That side, that is where deals happen. You will go to Washington, they will go, okay, fine. Tugende mu PR. Kati PR yono Biden yajja n'abagamba Africa tugenda ba bilioni 5.5 bannange mukole ku ddembe ly'obuntu, mukole ku democracy, mukole ku bino naye oluvannyuma bla 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 bla. Oyo PR. Kati then ne tudda mu kasenge. Gye tutuula nga tewali mawulire, tewali kamera, tewali anything. Ne twogera ensonga. Tugamba okay, kale fine. Olwo Biden ng'ayogera ekituufu ekimukozesa olukungaana ng'olwo. Sooka Russia, ekyokubiri China, ekyokusatu interests zaffe mu Africa. All these bases, military bases that tulina ku continent. Our interests in the DRC. Kiki kyogenda okukolawo? Kati bwe otuuka mu meeting eyo n'oyogera democracy, n'oyogera human rights, oba toli mukwano gwabwe, because that doesn't mean a damn to them. They don't even give it, not even 2 cents. Let me put it to you in simple issues, right? Simple issues. And these are facts. America has destroyed more democracies than it has built. Show me one country that America helped to become a democracy. Tell you. Like on the continent of Africa, even globally. You look everywhere. Iraq, Afghanistan, Nicaragua, Iran, Libya, Egypt, Sudan, Algeria, all these places, they haven't helped to build democracy. They've just destroyed it. So you are facing 2 factors here. Whereas you might think that the West is going to help you to build democracy, to some extent it's not. It's actually working to destroy your movement from within. But as well, you could use them to your advantage if you are a wee bit of a step ahead. And I'll finish with that later on. But my point is, even in terms of human rights, the US has committed more human rights atrocities. He has committed, I mean, we don't want to face it, but these are now the realities, because let's give them a taste of their own medicine. So it's one of the countries where they still hang people, where there is still a death, whatever. It's in the US. Look at how they treat US, look at how they treat migrants. And that's human rights. Treating abantu crossing, the migrants, how they keep people out. They literally have policies that deport people out of their countries who are seeking refuge in the countries where they destroyed whatever it was there. So what is the point? Because most people, some people definitely they don't understand my context, but for those who understand, you will open your eyes and you will wake up and you will understand. So my explanation on these issues is that bottom line is interests. When I saw people crying, I'm like, come on, please. What do you think? Abiy Ahmed aliwali Fatah Sisa aliwali Museveni aliwali gwadde yagala Museveni bamuyitewa yagenze kujoininga banne era nga bebakkiriziganya mu kutulugunya abantu ne mu kutongola eddembe ly'obuntu nga abakulembedde ye muntu akulembedde mu nsi yonna okutulugunya n'okulinyirira eddembe ly'obuntu Joe Biden ne banne. Hey, it's as simple as that. Lastly, because Katibine Bisinga Mibagamba, I'm just making these points, but in future, but Njakuba Sinjako Agara Kwe repeating for people who will know my stance on most of these issues, so you will understand where I come from in my explanations. So you can always just refer back to such videos. America teyagala third world countries zikyuse bukulembeze. They hate it. They hate it. It's painful. It costs them a lot of money. Why? Tugeze buli mwaka 5 mukyusa abakulembeze oba kale emyaka 10. Kati bwe interest mu nsi yo, what would you prefer? Generally, let us talk. Nti nina omukulembeze agenda kufuga ensi okumala emyaka 4. Ensi eyo nina interests gyenziinamu ne surrounding areas. Kitegeeza weekola deal ne dictator ng'oyo alina control ku bantu be. Kitegeeza I've secured the interests of my country for the next 40 years. Nti nja kuba seeraliikirira nnyo. Kitegeeza because buli mwaka 5 wegikyuka, another new person will come in that country and then we have to renegotiate again. So it doesn't make sense. It is draining. So you have to have a dictator somewhere. It logically makes sense, right? It asobola guaranteeing 50 years or 40 years or 20 years of uninterrupted interests in their thing. So that's how things work. But then ku PR eno ne basisiriza ebizigo ne bagamba human rights democracy. Kumbe nate badiringa ne human rights violators ne anti-democratic forces in these respective countries. Kitegeera? So briefly, I think that's how the US is doing it. That's how it's destroying democracies on the continent, and that's how it's making life hell. Wewebuze lwaki wetwogera ku nsonga even the human rights zennyini teziri equal. You know, if there are some human rights that you will talk about ezo zijja ku receiving attention but tuteekeko ne sanctions, even the businesses will be withdrawn. Ezo muzimanyi zenyogerako. Like for example, if it's an issue to do with LGBT, definitely I mean, if anything happens like such human rights ezo baziteekako nnyo essira. The businesses will be closed in Uganda. The companies will move out of the country. Museveni will not even be called for the US Africa Summit. Naye abantu 10 baafudde wano, wali 5 baafudde, wano 3, wano baafudde enjala. You don't care. You just don't care. So, what's my suggestion? Number 1, way forward. Wherever you're watching me from Africa, you have to diversify your struggle. Get your struggle to connect as much as possible to the people, whether they are in government or outside government. The likelihood of most dictatorships falling as a result of people within that dictatorship, working within that dictatorship, is high. How have you established those connections between you and the people within? You must work from within and not outside for the thing to fall. You don't necessarily have to be in there, but you must have people inside. Because having such kind of connections makes much more sense than trying to work with these people, because they're literally hypocrites. So basically, that's what you could do for now. Secondly, is educate yourself on events that are happening elsewhere on the continent or in Africa, because they are literally similar and they affect us in the same way. The idea of people seeking change in Africa, concentrating basically on their countries only, I think it's not a winning strategy. I think you need to know events surrounding your country, how they will affect your movement in a respective African country. So if you have that sorted, then because then all of a sudden everything will fall into place here and there. So basically that's it, guys. But I'll be more inclined to do more videos, I think at least once or two a week. And I'll create a page, I think, and throw stuff over there. But Yakuban's Kola Zoom. And I'll be speaking about different topics generally. And I think the topic here, US Africa. Because most people cannot literally fathom how that literally affects movements on the continent, independent movements on the continent. You can whitewash things, you know, gamba Museveni bamuwadde red carpet, oli tebamuwadde, ono bamuwadde kino, ono ekifaananyi bamutadde eri mabega, ono bamutadde maaso. Those are nitty-gritties, like, si nitty-gritties, those are non-issues. The fact that these guys took time to invite this guy to go to Washington, that is enough. Omukazi omukutta ayenda mbu ate nedda twamusanze ng'oluggi luggale ate enkuba yabadde etonnya ate biki oba just bwa bwakwekwaso. The fact is omukazi bamukwatidde mu bwenzi oba omusajja bamukwatidde mu bwenzi. It's as simple as that. Kitegeere. Kati ekifaananyi baba bakimukubye oba tebakimukubye, it doesn't matter. Kati ate waliwo n'ekirala ekijja kye mutannalaba ekiri mu Bungereza, because if I start a topic on England, man, we are done. Like diaspora, I don't know how you're gonna turn it around, but it's gonna be hard. But you need to go back to because look, while this financial market Museveni it is a business community here in UK, bonna babadde bayindi. Rishi Sunak, I think he has connections to Uganda, his family, whatever, wabebaamini beyagoba something. Ali abayindi bangi nnyo abali mu gavumenti ya wano. So kati bro, kye twetaaga wano number one is divine intervention. Naddala nga wano mu UK. Unless if government drastically changes and you have labor in or something like that. But still, I insist personally in my understanding of international relations is that always interests will be at the forefront. If interests of any nations are threatened, definitely they will fight tooth and nail to see that they reverse the curve. Okay, so unless anyone has a question, I think that's where I'll stop for now. And we'll meet later on in the week. Definitely, I'll be back fully on Facebook next week. Sorry, next year, inshallah. And then I'll be doing either 2 or 1 videos, at most 30 or 15 minutes a week, and then just explaining events on the continent here and there. And because that I know is my understanding of most of the issues. And as we prepare for, I don't know, all that sort of stuff. Anyways, guys, okay, have a good night and enjoy the rest of your week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.